end the government shutdown after to the White House, where President Trump is now signing the bill to end the government shutdown after 43 days.
$1.5 trillion, which would have really hurt our healthcare businesses and our recipients at levels never seen before. Today, we're sending a clear message that we will never give in to extortion, because that's what it was. They tried to extort, the Democrats tried to extort our country. In just a moment, I'll sign a bill exactly like we asked Democrats to send us all along many days ago. This cost the country $1.5 trillion, this little excursion that they took us on. Republicans never wanted a shutdown and voted 15 times for a clean continuation of funding. There's never been a time when one or the other party ever didn't sign a continuation. It's just a continuation, not a big deal. It's a continuation, and we'll talk later. Yet the extremists in the other party insisted on creating the longest government shutdown in American history, and they did it purely for political reasons. I want to thank Speaker Mike Johnson, Senate Majority Leader John Thune, as well as House Majority Leader Steve Scalise, Majority Whip Tom Emmer, and numerous other great Republican leaders and congressmen and senators who are here and frankly spent a long time in Washington getting this thing to go away. I also want to thank the broad coalition of Americans that stood with us in this fight to reopen government, including the Teamsters, the American Federation of Government Employees, the Fraternal Order of Police, AMVETS, the National Small Business Association, the American Farm Bureau, the American Trucking Association. These are all incredible patriots. The Airlines for America, the Allied Pilots Association, the National Air Traffic Controllers Association, and many others, unions and non-unions. Over the past 7 weeks, the Democrats' shutdown has inflicted massive harm. They caused 20,000 flights to be canceled or delayed. They departed so many times, so late. People were hurt so badly. Nobody's ever seen anything like this one. This was a no-brainer. This was an easy extension.
Hello, everybody. I'm sorry. I was going to let this ride, but he's already told at least 2 or 3 lies. So I was going to let it ride to let people come in. But he just said there's been no time in history that that they've never done a continuing resolution. That's a lie. Like, that happened in his last presidency. And then he's naming all these organizations that approve of the bill being passed, and they're all like people who didn't have a paycheck. It's just crazy to me. And we've never seen anything like this in history, of course. But anyway, I digress. I'm going to let him finish while people start pouring in. And I'm solo dolo tonight, by the way. But anyway, here we go.
But they didn't want to do it the easy way. They had to do it the hard way. And they look very bad, the Democrats do. They deprived more than 1 million government workers from their paychecks and cut off food stamp benefits for millions and millions more Americans in need. They caused tens of thousands of federal contractors and small businesses to go unpaid. And the total effect of the damage their antics caused will take weeks and probably months to really calculate accurately, including the serious harm that they did to our economy and to people and to families. So I just want to tell the American people, you should not forget this. When we come up to midterms and other things, don't forget what they've done to our country. I also want to call for a termination to the filibuster so that this can never happen again. If we had the filibuster terminated, this would never happen again. And don't forget, we have another date coming up in the not too distant future. We can never let this happen again. And we should be able to pass great, really great legislation. So I say terminate the filibuster because, by the way, the Democrats will do it immediately if they ever assumed office, which hopefully they won't. Today, we had the highest stock market price ever in all of the different markets. We set a record It's the 48th time in the 9 months that I've been in office that we had this record set. So think of that, 48 times we had a record set, but today is the highest of them all. We're going to break new grounds. Nobody would have thought. I have with us not only the great political leaders, but the great business leaders of our country.
So notice how he hasn't talked about any of the layoffs. Just the stock market. Just the stock market. But not all the people that have been laid off in the last quarter. And the quarter's not over, so I just want to point that out. And he's not even talking about unemployment numbers. I think Pam Bondi had said something about, was it Pam Bondi? That the numbers aren't going to be accurate. Some lie she gave, I can't remember. But here we go. Let me let him finish. I might not let him finish lying. Yes, Lance, the markets are going to tank big time soon. So we got to be vigilant and watch out for that. I mean, you could tell they're going to tank it. You don't have a spike like that in markets unless they fall. It happens every time. And we have enough data to predict that. You don't have to be an economist to have common sense. But anyway, I digress. Let him finish his lies.
They're standing right behind me and right really alongside of me. And if we would have told them a year ago that we'd be having stock prices this high, none of them, in fact, I just asked them that question, none of them would have believed it. And that inures to jobs and very importantly to 401ks, which have also set a record today, a record high for the people that have 401ks.
Until they tank.
And also I want to thank Walmart because they came up with a fantastic study. It was the cost of Thanksgiving coming up and the cost of Thanksgiving from a year ago under Sleepy Joe Biden. And we're 25% lower this year than we were a year ago. And it's a very inclusive report. So I want to thank Walmart. They've done it for many years, but we believe in that. We believe in that company. I want to also thank the 8 Senate Democrats.
I don't know if I can get through this. Another lie. Another lie. The Thanksgiving package that they offer, it's cheaper this year, but there's a lot less stuff on it. Like the turkeys are smaller. There's less sides to the package, and all the sides that they're offering now are all great value products. There's no name brand products in it. So that is why it is cheaper, not because you're getting more. What do they call that? When you see, this is why I need like Michael here. When you not deflation, shrinkflation, where they shrink the packages and raise the prices. So you're getting a shrinkflated Thanksgiving package, which I would encourage no one to buy. I'm not doing Thanksgiving this year. I'm just not doing it. I'm going to go in my freezer and pull out some chicken and some sausage. I'm going to make a gumbo. That's what I'm having for Thanksgiving, a gumbo that I'm going to make from scratch. So, bullshitflation. Yeah, that's probably a better word for it. I don't know. We can laugh a little more. I try to not get upset. So let me do this let me try to watch this and laugh instead of get pissed off. Yes, gumbo is, I guess it's somewhat exotic. It's a Louisiana staple. And I'll probably make some gumbo greens also because I really love greens, mustard greens.
Who finally did the right thing in voting to end this craziness, this madness. But unfortunately, the vast majority of congressional Democrats were happy for millions of Americans to suffer. They really did suffer too. And the Democrats admitted, they said, well, no, we finally have a point. Even though people have to suffer, we finally have a point. And that didn't work out too well for them. But they really went out and they could appease the fringe benefits of their far left base, but that didn't work out because now their far left base is angrier than ever before. We actually elected a mayor of New York City who happens
Now
to be a
that was true.
communist. When was that going to happen? Remember I said all
The far left base is angrier than it was before. That's the first truth he's spoken. And Mondami is not a communist, but okay, whatever. You know they're going to call him that anyway, so who cares? But New York City did it. So shout out to New York City. I'm very proud of you. Now, let's see how he delivers, but that's a whole nother show because I'm going to be following him. Of course, I'm going to be following him because I was in New York City for so long. I followed the whole thing. I didn't like the fact that he was on a float with AOC. I think he needs to distance himself from AOC, just like he's trying to distance himself from APEC. That's just my opinion. But we'll see. Anyway, here we go.
the time during my campaign, we will never be a socialist country. And that's right. We turned out to have a communist in New York City. And if you look at his views, those are the views of a communist, not a socialist. So this is no way to run a country. I hope we can all agree that the government should never be shut down again, end the filibuster, terminate the filibuster. It'll never happen again. So with my signature, the federal government will now resume normal operations, and my administration and our partners in Congress will continue our work to lower the cost of living, restore public safety, grow our economy, and make America affordable again for all Americans. Again, the costs are way down. Energy is way down. Gasoline is at $2.50 a gallon versus $4.70
No, it's
for the
not.
Democrats. And we think we're going to hit pretty close to $2 a gallon. That's like a really massive tax cut. It's the equivalent of that. And speaking of tax cuts, our great, big, beautiful bill is giving everybody in our economy, middle income workers, low income, everybody, the biggest tax cut in the history of our country. And it's no tax on tips, no tax on Social Security, and very importantly, no tax on overtime. You work overtime, there's no tax. That's among the things that add up to the biggest tax cut in history. And one other thing, you hear about.
Oh my gosh. That lie is like the most egregious one. And it's not one to laugh at either. I'm trying to laugh, but I can't laugh at that lie. It's just too big of a lie. And I think I'm done with him. Are you guys done with him? You want to finish listening? It's 4 more minutes. Just fine. I won't stop it anymore. Fine.
Rich people with deductions. Well, when you buy your car and you borrow money, you're allowed to now deduct the interest on that loan. So you can take that interest deduction and what you can take is that interest payment and deduct it for income tax purposes. That's a tremendous tax cut right there. But it all includes fixing the healthcare system that Democrats broke with the disaster known as Obamacare. Obamacare was a disaster from day one. It's done nothing but go up. And if you remember President Barack Hussein Obama, when he came up with this crazy idea, he said, everything's going to be great. Rates are going to go down. Payments are going to go down. Everything's going to go down. It went the exact opposite, with the biggest increase of healthcare in any country. It's a disaster. And I'm
okay. I gotta say something. I just have to, because he was being pressed about his plan. I wasn't even thinking to pull all this up. And the word salad that came out of his mouth was basically, we're gonna take it away from the insurance companies to have to pay. We're gonna give health savings. So HSA was introduced with Obamacare, right? Or ACA. We're gonna give healthcare savings, and instead of paying the insurance companies, we're gonna pay you personally, and then you could pay, and we're gonna call it Trump Care. So I'm like, wait. So it's basically HSAs. And instead of the insurance paying like their portion and us paying the difference, you're going to give us the money so we could pay directly, but it'll be more expensive, and then you're going to put your name on it. Like, what? That's not a plan. That's a word salad. So yeah, maybe he speaks more to it. It's almost over.
Calling today for insurance companies not to be paid, but for the money,
Oh,
this
he talks
massive
about it
amount
here.
of money to be paid directly to the people of our country so that they can buy their own health care, which will be far better and far less expensive than the disaster known as Obamacare. And I've had, I think, great support. I've even had Democrat support. So we want the money that would be going to the insurance company, which is hundreds of billions of dollars. You know, their stock prices have gone up by 1,000% in many cases, 1,000% over a short period of time, because our country stupidly pays them so much money with this Obamacare scandal. So I want the money to go directly to you, the people. And you go out and you'll buy your own health insurance and you'll negotiate different plans and you'll get much better insurance and you will be an entrepreneur for yourself. So I'm always willing to work with anyone, including the other party. We'll work on something having to do with healthcare. We can do a lot better. We can do great. So much money is involved, and we're willing to pay so much money to the people. So we're going to pay a lot of money to the people. They're going to go out and buy their own healthcare, and we're going to forget this Obamacare madness. So with all of that, I just want to tell you the country has never been in better shape.
Now, the part that he's not mentioning here is this supposed to be a health savings account. Okay, so you're supposed to. So he didn't explain it this way when he was in an interview. So here he's saying, instead of paying that, I don't even understand what he's saying right here. Like, we're going to give you all the money, and then you go out and buy your own insurance plan. Okay, well, that means you're still dealing with insurance companies that you have to fight to make sure you don't get dropped for pre-existing conditions. And, you know, it's just word salad. It's just babble. It's not a plan. And it's not even the plan that he discussed with the reporter. So he doesn't know what he's talking about. He's just like trying to put together the process, but he doesn't know the process. So it's extremely evident with what he's saying right here. Yeah, I just gotta love it. Here we go.
We went through this
Let's let him sign this
short-term
bullshit.
disaster with the Democrats because they thought it would be good politically. And it's an honor now to sign this incredible bill and get our country working again. Thank you very much.
Yay! We just fucked over the American people
Thank you
again.
very much. I don't know if
That's
you
so
have questions.
awesome.
I think
This is
really-
wonderful. I just can't. Oh, there's more. There's more babble. Extra, I don't know what this vertical stream is. Oh, my face is so big in here. This is like new on the streaming platform, so I just decided to turn it on. If it sucks, I could try to turn it off. I don't know. He has more to say. He has more babbling, so let's let him do his thing. He's going to talk about how great and wonderful he is, I'm sure.
A country that's in great shape. As you know, we have it's over $18 trillion invested in our country by other people and countries. That's a record. There's never been a country that had so much. And That money's going into also building new auto plants, new AI plants, new everything. We've never had a time like this. Thank you very much, everybody. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Oh, he's taking questions?
Thank you very much.
No.
It's a great
Is he
day.
taking questions? No. They're like, get the fuck out. Oh my gosh. What's the new auto industry? I'll have to look that up because I don't think Hyundai is staying. Now the data centers, there's gonna be plenty of those. And they're telling us, Meta is telling us they're gonna have so many jobs with these data centers. Yeah, sure. All right, guys. Good to see you. I'm riding solo dolo today, so it might take me a little longer to do things. But I'm here. Michael had to, he was kind enough to switch a shift with someone who needed this day off. So he's always doing some kind of aid in some kind of way. So good for him. Jacqueline Lance. Hi, Black Life. Black Life should be in here helping me. But no. I got it. You can chill. Driving me Macy, sorry. Extra Blood. Sean, Lance, and whoever I have missed or whoever's in the background just chilling, watching. Hello to everyone. Oh, Jacqueline, of course, Jacqueline. I'm glad that you are here. We are going to be talking about the government shutdown. Now, look, I'm not an expert on this, but I know this is confusing to a lot of people. Like they don't understand why the government keeps shutting down or what happens specifically with this shutdown. So I try to go through some information and pull some stuff out so I can try to explain as much of it to you as I understand. And so if you have some understandings or some information that you want to throw in there, that's what the chat is for. Oh, I'm related to you, Sean. Okay. Sister from another mister. That's what I am. So I'm gonna start with like a quick overview. Hi, Rondo. Peace, fam. And then I'm going to play some articles to try to explain how the process works a little bit. And then we'll dig into the details of this shutdown specifically, if that's all right with you. Because I think some of us, we remember, how a bill becomes a bill and, all that stuff. But we might not be as versed on resolutions versus reconciliation and clean resolutions versus dirty ones and filibuster. What requires a filibuster? What can you not filibuster? What doesn't shut down when the government shutdowns? And that's called the BYRD Act, I believe, BYRD. So we're going to kind of go through those things just so we'll have an idea of it, because I feel like there's going to be another one, possibly, because this resolution only extends to January 2026. So we got in there just in time for Christmas so you could spend all your money. And then we're going to shut this puppy down again, possibly in January. So let's see what happens. So real quick review of, and this is by USA Facts, by the way. I like this. I like this YouTube. Let me pull it back so you could get his name, so I can give him his credit where his credit is due. Yeah, I like this. Subscribe to this if you haven't. It's really good information.
I'm Steve Ballmer, And here's a quick take from my teammate at USA Facts. Take it away, Lucia.
Thanks, Steve. Here's what I got. There's a lot of talk about government shutdowns, but why do they happen? The federal government runs on a fiscal year from October 1st to September 30th. Each year, Congress must pass a new budget for discretionary spending, which includes defense, public health, education, and more. Mandatory programs like Social Security continue regardless. Here's the process. In February, the president submits a budget request. The House and Senate draft resolutions setting spending limits. Committees then divide funds into appropriations bills, which both chambers must pass, and the president must sign into law. If the president vetoes, Congress can revise or override with a 2/3 vote. Congress hasn't finished all appropriations on time since 1997, often relying on temporary extensions called continuing resolutions. Without them, parts of the government shut down.
Just real quick, you see where it says often relying on temporary extensions called continuing resolutions. Now, we just heard Trump say, never in history have we, I can't remember what he said, the lies just write themselves. But never in history have we not signed resolutions or something like that. No, we have continuing resolutions, which is what they were doing, for this government shutdown. They're trying to do a continuing resolution, which is called a CR. And you can have, well, I'll explain that CR thing a little later. What they didn't mention was the reconciliation. So after the continuing resolutions that assign, like give a goal of what they want to do, then the reconciliations actually budget that out. But this is a high overview here. So
since 2013, that's happened 3 times. During shutdowns, essential functions continue, but many services halt, like national parks, research, small business loans, and passport processing. The longest shutdown lasted 34 days, from December 2018 to January 2019. And that's the facts from USA Facts.
this is interesting. Ballmer is just as sus as Gates, as in Bill Gates. I'd like to know if he means Bill Gates. I just look at it for his explanations of things of how the government works and stuff like that. I don't know what would make him sus beyond that, but please let me know, Lance. Anywho, so let's talk about budget resolutions versus reconciliation. I just assume some people don't know about this because like Jacqueline's in the UK, and so if you know about it, then you know. If you don't, just enjoy the ride, okay? So a budget resolution is like a concurrent resolution that acts as a blueprint for the budget. So there are goals that are set for the budget, whereas the reconciliation is you're passing the specific legislative laws that determine what happens with the budget, like your revenue, your amount of debt. I can't remember. I have it in another slide, so don't. It's 3 things, by the way. Force of law. It does not have the force of law and does not go to the president for a signature. That's a budget resolution. A budget reconciliation is a bill that becomes law once passed by both chambers and signed by the president. The purpose of the budget resolution is to set overall aggregate spending and revenue targets, provides instructions to committees. And the purpose of a budget reconciliation is it expedites the passage of bills that change mandatory spending, revenues, or the debt limit. Oh, those are the 3 things right there. Mandatory spending, revenues, or the debt limit with a simple majority in the Senate. Now, resolutions require 60 votes. Reconciliations require simple majority. Oh, that's the next piece. Sorry, my bad. Senate vote threshold. So, oh, did I do that backwards? It says passed by a simple majority vote, and then requires only a simple majority vote in the Senate, bypassing the 60 vote filibuster threshold. No, I don't think this is correct. Passed by a simple majority vote. I don't think that's correct. So anyway, that is what those things are. Let me check the. He used to be the CEO of Microsoft. Well, that's enough to make you say, I do like his videos though. Would I compare him to a Bill Gates then for what I'm saying for the videos that he does do? If you watch USA Facts, I would probably, I messed that up. How do I would probably compare him more to is his name Robert Reich, the economist Robert Reich then? Because Robert Reich he's like a liberal shield too, but he does a very good job of explaining how stuff works. So I don't know. I'd love to get your thought on that. But thank you for the info. Now this is the next one. Is this big enough? I hate using this, but where'd it go? Oh, here it is. Okay. So there are clean continuing resolutions and there are dirty continuing resolutions. The primary goal of a clean resolution is to temporarily fund the government at existing levels to prevent a shutdown. A dirty resolution is to pass unrelated policy changes or specific funding mandates by attaching them to must-pass legislation. So the contents of a clean resolution is only technical language necessary to continue funding at the prior fiscal year's rates. And then the dirty one would include policy riders or significant, often controversial funding adjustments, provisions, things like that. Clean resolutions usually have bipartisan support because they're so general. They're just passing the can down the road, basically, type of thing. Whereas a dirty resolution is it has a lower likelihood of bipartisanship support due to the inclusion of partisan or contentious measures. Let's see, negotiation impact. The clean resolution simplifies negotiations by, I just said that, kicking the can down the road on larger issues. And the dirty resolution complicates negotiations and increases the risk of government shutdown due to disagreements over riders or propositions, things like that. We would call it in the regular, not a shutdown bill, but in a regular bill, we would call it like pork, if you're familiar with that language, that lingo. Now, the political characterization, the clean bill is described as a straightforward, nonpartisan approach, where the dirty bill is characterized as a poison bill or an attempt to use essential funding as leverage for unrelated goals. So you're trying to like sneak some shit up in there is basically what they're saying. Okay. I try to find. Maybe I'm getting ahead of myself. I found a clean. There's supposed to be a clean bill and a dirty bill that was proposed. Okay. Thune only put forth the dirty bill, allegedly. And that's how the shutdown happened. And then they proposed the clean bill. I need to check and see that because I realize they have dates on here of introductions. So let me see if what I've been reading is the truth. Introduced September 18th, introduced September 16th. Just go down this rabbit hole with me and see. Let's see where it goes. So I have to stop. Hi, old man Parker. How you doing? How you doing? Now, I'd like to go back a little further. Before I start talking about these clean bills and dirty bills, maybe I should go back a little further because he talked about the big, beautiful bill and the tax cuts and stuff. So maybe I should mention that. Maybe I should do that later. I'll just do this first. Let's just go down this rabbit hole, and then we'll talk about the big beautiful bill. Yeah, let's do that. Now I can't confirm everything that she's saying, but I was definitely trying to. There's a lot of people who have a lot of different opinions, and it's really hard to find the information to confirm what actually they've been doing because the Democrats are saying that Doan proposed a dirty bill first, and then gave them a cleaner bill. But the cleaner bill is still a dirty bill when you really look at it. It's just not as dirty as the first bill. Okay. The Republicans are saying that the Democrats wanted a dirty bill. So, and I tried to Google, like, what was the first bill that Thune presented? And I can't find the information. So I'm just like, is it being hidden or did they like bury it way down in some pages or why can't I find that? And I searched and I couldn't find it before the show started. So I really wish I could have, because that would have pretty much answered told the truth from the lie. So right now, all I have is conjecture for you, unfortunately. But here we go with this. Hi, Cowboy Kitty.
So the MAGA keep asking me, Shauna, what is the difference between the continuing resolution bill that we're fighting over right now and the one that was signed back in March of 2025 and the one that was signed back in October of 2024 under President Biden? So under the One Big Beautiful Bill Act that was just passed in the House and the Senate, the ACA subsidies, the SNAP benefits, they were all good for 3 years. It would be good till 2028, okay? And then ICE was going to get $75 billion. That's what's in the One Big Beautiful Bill, okay? Now that's just a framework. So now you've got to figure out the funding for those things. Well, the Republicans and the Democrats have been fighting about how to fund the Big Beautiful Bill. So instead of finishing the negotiations and rewriting it all up, they decided to pass a continuing resolution, or a CR. Now, the House Republicans and the Senate Democrats both agreed to a clean CR that didn't have anything new, that was going to keep everything that was in the OBBB, and nothing was going to change. No funding was going to change, nothing. It was totally clean. But Donald Trump got involved. And Donald Trump told the Senate Republicans that he didn't want a clean CR. He wanted a dirty one. And he wanted changes made to the One Big Beautiful Bill. So instead of having that 3-year time frame for the ACA subsidies and all of that, he only wants an 11-month time period. He wants them to expire in October of next year. And not only that, he wants that $75 billion that we got in the OBBB for ICE. He wants that changed to $86 billion. Now, instead of just going back and changing the one big beautiful bill in a new vote, they've decided to call it a continuing resolution. But again, it's not clean. It's actually dirty because it makes changes. The clean CR that the House passed and that the Senate Democrats said that they would agree to has not been put up for a vote in the Senate. Just the Senate bill that makes all those changes has been put up for a vote. So the MAGA keep asking me, Shauna, what is the difference between the continuing resolution bill that we're fighting over right now and the one that was signed back in March of 2025 and the one that was signed back in October of 2024?
Sorry. Sorry, she started over. Okay. So we're going to kind of talk about the difference between the clean bill and the dirty bill. And the wording is just so crazy that it's really hard to follow it, especially inside the bill. And I'll show you that. We'll look at the bill, Jacqueline. So here we go. Let me share this one. Is it not sharing? There we go.
These are real people's lives we're talking about.
Hey there, Johnny. If this isn't a game, then why in the hell have you introduced Senate Bill 2882? And why won't you put up HR 5371 up for a vote? Because this right here is the clean CR. People have been asking me, how is what's going on now different than 8 months ago? And let me explain. See, 8 months ago, the Senate voted on HR 1968, which was a clean CR, and the Senate didn't offer a companion bill at all. So they actually passed the clean CR 8 months ago. Now, this bill right here, HR 5371, is the same as HR 1968, but for some reason, the Senate didn't just pass this. The Senate hasn't even called this up for a vote. This is a clean CR, and the Senator Thune refuses to allow this to come up for a vote. Instead, he wrote Senate Bill 2882, which is a dirty CR. It makes policy changes. That is why they introduced another bill on top of the clean CR. This makes the CR dirty. And Senator Thune has voted 13 times on Senate Bill 2882, which is actually a guarantee of having another shutdown in 2026. See, let me explain. See, in Senate Bill 2882, they make changes from allowing all of the negotiations to go forward through 2028, and they change it so that the negotiations have to be redone in 2026, right before the election, so they can once again shut down the government 1 year from now. This is totally a game. See, what happened was they didn't expect the Democrats to shut down the government now. They expected the Democrats to go ahead and allow this bill now, and then they were going to go ahead next year and shut down the government. They literally are planning a government shutdown in 2026. But the Democrats have called their bluff. See, this is the language in Senate Bill 2882. This is actually from that bill. And it says right here that they're going to strike out 2026 through 2028. So again, we wouldn't have to renegotiate this until 2028. And this right here is from the one big beautiful bill that was already negotiated and passed. They want to change the one big beautiful bill and have it expire 2026 so that there's a shutdown right before the midterms. This is literally a planned shutdown right here. That's what this is. So Senator Thune, why are you playing games? And journalists, why can't you tell the senators to just go ahead and pass HR 5371 all by itself and to just get rid of S 2882? Let me guess, because you don't understand Congress very much, even though it's your job.
Okay. So you guys picking up what I'm putting down so far? So Jacqueline says, why are dirty resolutions, or whatever you call them, allowed? For the same reason why they allow pork in bills. They don't do up or down votes per idea. They package all that stuff together. Now, why is it allowed? I don't know. Can I have a dirty resolution? Well, actually, I do know. I assume so they could be corrupt and hide pork in bills. And so they can tell the American people they're fighting over what the bill is supposed to be intended for without letting us know all the little extra stuff that they throw in there. So so yeah, you wanted to see the bills, Jacqueline. This so the first one, the dirty bill. 282. Okay, so this one, it failed the Senate. That is so little. This is the one that, because of the shutdown, okay. There's a motion by Senator Schumer to reconsider. So all the things that they were kind of mentioning to us, the third cloture motion to proceed was not invoked. And so this one failed. So this is why the government shut down. Okay. Now this one is the cleaner bill, but it's not that clean. Okay. Oh, you can't see it. Hold on. So see how it was introduced, it passed the House, failed Senate, then it passed the Senate. Okay, when it failed the Senate, this passed the Senate, watch that part. The resolving differences, they didn't really resolve the differences. I'm going to explain why to you. They basically just passed it without resolving differences just to get the government up and running again, and now it's law. And this is the bill, actually. So I couldn't find, see how it says, oh, you can't see that. Oh, you can't see my fine. All right, never mind. So I'm looking for Division E, but not that one. For the health. Here we go, health extenders. So as you can see, if you look throughout the whole thing, all of these funds are extended only until January 30th. So we're going to have an issue again in January 30th. Like, see, all of this stuff is just extended January 30th. All of it. As far as our health, the Division E is concerned, which is our public health and safety division. Okay. So we're basically only kicking the can down the road again until January. So you guys make sure you go buy your those Christmas gifts since you got your paychecks again. Go ahead and have a good Christmas, because man, in January they're really gonna mess over you again. After you've spent that money, though, you got to spend the money first. You got to spend the money first. This is what I wanted to show you, how he was mentioning all of those. So here's a press release from appropriations.house.gov. Okay, October 28, 20. Oh, you can't see this. Look at this. There we go. And it's kind of small. All right. So this is from appropriations.house.gov. 300 plus stakeholders support clean CR to reopen the government. And I'm going to show you how that CR isn't as clean as they're claiming it to be. So it was a bipartisan majorities in both chambers of Congress have voted to support of a clean, nonpartisan CR to reopen the government. That's not true. And I'll show you how. But I just wanted to show you all the people that are in support. They're all people who, the agriculture industry, they're looking for subsidies. Aircraft mechanics, airspace, and it's all Airlines for America, Airline Pilots Association, Cattlemen's Association, farmers. It's all of these people are people who are looking for either their check or a handout, subsidy, I should say. So I'm not surprised that they framed it like this in the headlines, that they're supporting a clean CR to reopen, and look at all these stakeholders who are on our side. It's all bullshit. But hey, that's why you have independent media to help you along the way. All right, so I'm going to talk about one. I'm going to let this lady speak about one appropriations act that was added to the. That was taken out of the CR version, and then we're going to talk about what was entered into the quote unquote clean CR that was passed. Y'all know they call Louisiana the dirty, dirty. Did y'all know that? The dirty, dirty. And boy, are we dirty. Not as dirty as Congress, though.
Breaking news, the text of the Senate's version of the continuing resolution is out, and here is some good news. It goes through January 30th of 2026, so we won't have to revisit any of this until then.
Sorry, I misspoke. Sorry. Let me let her finish again. I thought she meant something was coming out of the bill, but she's explaining what's in it. So I apologize. I forgot.
Text of the Senate's version of the continuing resolution is out, and here is some good news. It goes through January 30th of 2026, so we won't have to revisit any of this until then. So happy holidays. Also, all of those federal employees that Donald Trump fired under his so-called reduction in force orders, they would all get their jobs back with back pay. Furloughed and state employees would also receive the pay that they missed during the shutdown. So these are big wins for the Democrats. But here's the big loss for the Democrats. There's no written promise that Congress will vote on the Affordable Care Act subsidies in either chamber, not in the Senate, not in the House. It's nowhere in this bill.
Nope.
It's just a verbal deal, a handshake, if you will, trust us from Republican leadership. And that's why Democrats and voters on the left are furious. Because premiums have already gone up 300 to 400% for millions of people. And now there's no guarantee that a single vote will ever happen to fix it. Now, if the Senate passes this bill tonight, that doesn't mean that the shutdown ends automatically. It still has to go to the House, where Speaker Mike Johnson has to decide.
Well, we know they already passed it, so we'll leave that part alone. Before I go into some of the things that were added into this bill that are making people furious, let's just have a little fun first. Might as well laugh a little bit. We'll laugh a little bit. Okay. I don't know how funny he is, but
the shutdown's over, guys. Oh, that's great, dude. So did you get the Republicans to cave on anything? That's huge. We actually did get them to agree to key agreements that we got them to make. Wow, that's great. You know, I've given you guys a lot of criticism, but I got to say the way that you guys fought back here, I got to give you my credit here. You guys did a really, so in exchange for opening the government up, they're going to promise us a vote in 40 days on Obamacare, tax credits and subsidies and stuff. A promise. So the ball will be entirely in their court. And if they say no after they make a pinky promise, then it will be expected. No. This is what I'm talking about. Our plans are measured in centuries. Okay, the Republicans will look so. They already look bad right now. You had all the leverage, but they'll look even worse. Like imagine how it would look if they went back on their word. They lie all the fucking time. This isn't new. That's how we fight, though. That's how we fight.
Oh man, I feel that. That's how we fight, though. That's how we fight. It's nothing new. It's like they're feckless. And they do the same thing to us every time. But guess what? we're gonna vote for him in the we're gonna vote for him in 2026. I bet you it's gonna be an overwhelming blue wave, and then they're gonna not be able to give you anything anyway. So I don't know. I don't want to sound nihilistic about
fucking
it.
Republicans wanted. I'm trying to think of a
Here we go.
Democrats just folded like a fucking lawn chair on the government shutdown because, of course, they did. They're Democrats. We're talking about the most incompetent milquetoast fuck muffins to have ever wandered this godforsaken rock. You could grant the Democrats 3 wishes and they would negotiate it down to 1. And then they would just wish for whatever the fucking Republicans wanted. I'm trying to think of a sports metaphor to adequately convey what a group of craven, spineless, shrinking, candy-ass dick weasels these people are. But none comes to mind, and that's because Democrats are actually the biggest losers in the history of the planet. This is like losing a game of basketball to a golden retriever. This is like being a kid in an orphanage, watching a family pick a mouse over you. I'm starting to believe the allegations that they're controlled opposition because, after all, no one could be this bad at their job on purpose. Or maybe they're just addicted to the stench of failure. They like the way the defeat feels when it hits the back of their throat. There was a blue wave last Tuesday, and you want to know what the Democrats are going to do with that? Fuck all. You want to know what concessions they got for bending over for those evil inbred goblins at the GOP?
Oh my
Fuck
gosh.
all. But here's a better question. How many votes should the Democrats get next year while they allow Chuck Schumer, a Senate minority leader, to continually take a baseball bat to the kneecaps of this country? Because if you ask me, it's fuck all. Well, if you
He's mad. He is mad, bro. He says, like, giving you three concessions and taking away 2 of them. I like that analogy. But let me tell you what the Republicans did get. Democrats got nothing but the government reopened, right? Let me tell you what the Republicans got. And you are going to, I don't know. I was so pissed. So pissed. Okay. How do I show this to you? Okay, I'm gonna show AOC first because it's so quick. Because it's so quick. Okay.
Protected and extended throughout 2026. It is unconscionable that what we are debating right now is legislation that will give 8 members of the United States Senate over $1 million apiece. And we are robbing people of their food assistance and of their health care to pay for it. How is this even on the floor? How can we, as members of Congress, Republican or Democrat, vote to enrich ourselves by stealing from the American people? That is what this legislation does. In fact, Senator Graham just went before the press earlier today saying he was going to seek well over $1 million from the American people from this. We cannot support it and we cannot stand for it. Thank you.
Now, I don't know if you guys know what she's talking about. I'm going to try to explain it like I'm 5 because I understand it like I'm 25. She is talking about appropriation that they added to this clean CR at the last minute that allows the senators, whoever it's not just 8 senators. Don't listen to her. That allows anyone who was sued by the DOJ during the January 6th commission. It allows them to sue it automatically gives them like money as if like they sued the government, and it goes straight into their personal bank accounts. So from taxpayer dollars straight into their banks. That's like the 5-year-old version of it. But I'm going to let them speak on it themselves. This is 2 Republican House of Representative speakers that are on the committee. Okay, they're on the committee and they are like shocked and appalled by this provision that was snuck in at the last minute. But I'm gonna have to vote for it because I don't want the people to not have their money. Like, who is falling for this shit? So let me just play it so you guys can tell me what you think on the. Yes, pull out the guillotines. Yes, pull them out. Knives and forks and plates. Eat the rich. Okay, here we go. Listen to this bullshit.
Mr. Scott, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I too intend to talk about the Senate provision that they put in last night. I found out about it sometime around 9 o'clock. And I'll just be honest with you, Mr. Cole, I represent a lot of people that work for the federal government, Robbins Air Force Base, Moody Air Force Base, USDA, I could go down the list. And I was very excited about coming back to Washington, D.C. to vote to open the government back up.
I bet you were.
And then when I saw what the Senate did last night, I'll be honest, I had a hard night. And I've been struggling with what the right vote is because of what the Senate did. And I want to just tell you, because I want the American citizens to be able to read it. You can start at page 217 of the legislation where it says requiring Senate notification for disclosure of Senate data. And there's a lot of with respect to's and other things in the first pages. But when you get over to page 223, you'll see where they've created a private cause of action. Specifically for them. And it goes on and it says that cause of action, and this is on page 224, any senator whose Senate data or the Senate data of whose Senate office has been acquired, subpoenaed, searched, accessed, or disclosed in violation of this section may bring a civil action against the United States if the violation was committed by an officer, employer, or agent of the United States or of any federal department of agent or agency. Relief. If senator prevails on a claim under this subsection, the court shall, not may, shall award for each instance of a violation of this section the greater of, not the lesser of, the greater of statutory damages of $500,000 or the amount of actual damages, reasonable attorney fees, cost of litigation. And it goes on from there. Now, there's other language in here, waiver of sovereign immunity, no qualified immunity. And there's other language in here too that indicates that each line would be an additional payment. And so most of us as members have a campaign phone, a campaign email, a personal phone, a personal email, and then a business phone and a business email. That's 6 violations the way they count it. If they went for all of them, 6, minimum of $500,000 apiece. Now, I don't think, and I've been asking questions on this since last night, and I'm gonna tell you, I don't think that Senate leadership shared with the leadership of the House what they were doing. Now, I want the Democrats to know this. My understanding is that Chuck Schumer was very much aware and signed off on this particular language as well. So just, y'all might want to ask questions about that. I'm just telling the truth on this. Is as soon as I found out about it, I started asking questions. But they're saying, well, the executive branch shouldn't be checking up on the legislative branch. Well, there's some truth to that. There's a lot of truth to it. I believe in the separation of powers. And they talk about it being good governance. The thing that I can't get past, though, And this is, again, I mean, for the American citizens, if you go to page 227 of the bill, limited retroactive applicability. In general, the amendments made by this section shall apply to any acquisition, subpoena, search, accessing, disclosure of Senate data as defined in Section 10A of the Legislative Branch Appropriations Act of 2005, and to any failure to disclose such an acquisition, subpoena, search, accessing, or disclosure occurring on or after January 1 of 2022. So it's given them the ability to retroactively go back. We know, you literally know who, at least, we may not know all of them, but we at least know the list of some of them. In this paragraph, the term violation section 10 is the meaning given to the violation section. It goes on from there, but there's also language in there where it indicates that each account is a separate payment. Now, this language did not go through any committee markup. This language was not shared with the House of Representatives prior to it being put in the bill. And I personally agree that it should be removed. The problem is if we remove it, the Senate, it has to go back to the Senate. And then you're right back to where you were 40 days ago, where all of a sudden you're trying to get a piece of legislation out of the Senate. And so, I mean, I've struggled. I want you to know that, Mr. Cole. I want the American citizen. I've struggled with.
He wants the American citizens to know that he struggled. Oh, I've struggled. I struggled with this. I mean, I'm going to pass it anyway, but I just need you to know I struggled. Like, come on. We're not mad enough.
What the right course of action here is, because what they did is wrong.
You think?
This should not be in this piece of legislation.
You think?
And they can say it's about good governance all they want to. When they made it retroactive, then all of a sudden it was no longer about good governance. There's actually a list of people that know they will get paid as soon as this thing is signed. At least they've got the coupon where all they have to do is go file at the courthouse and get paid. And I haven't decided exactly what I'm going to do. My gut is, because of the way this place is so dysfunctional now, that the right thing to do is to get the government cut on as soon as possible.
The right thing to do is make sure it stays as dysfunctional as it is. That's the right thing. I struggled. As long as you know I struggled. Oh my gosh.
And make sure that the American citizens are watching what those senators do and hold them to account for what they did. And at the same time, the House put legislation out that actually reverses what the Senate has done.
You know, that just pisses me off when he's like, well, what we need to do is just like let the American people know so what their senators have done so they can hold them accountable. How? It doesn't matter how many times we call, how many times we protest. Do they ever get held accountable? All they're going to do is do redistricting to make sure their seat is safe. Like, how many times has Chuck Schumer or Nancy Pelosi or Lindsey Graham or whoever not been held accountable for their actions? So, like, he's just blowing smoke up our ass just for the cameras, because some people still actually believe in this. So for the people who still actually believe in this, he's giving them some meat. That's basically all it is.
They should vote on this in the light of day. If they think this is the right thing to do, then they should have a committee meeting and a straight up or down vote on it. Don't hold my people who work in my district at Robins Air Force Base paycheck any longer than it's already been held. And so I want you to know, Mr. Cole, you're our chair. I respect you tremendously, as much as I respect anybody in this house, and as much as, I mean, I can take everybody I ever met. I have tremendous respect for you. You are a man of integrity and honesty, And when you tell me
Just
you didn't
want you
know,
to
I
know.
trust you. And when Mike Johnson, when I'm asking questions about it at 9 o'clock last night, I don't think our side knows. I think the Dems and the Republicans in the Senate knew that. I do. I want you to know that. And but this is, I mean, American citizens just need to read it and they can figure it out for themselves. It's not that hard. It's big letters. It starts on 217.
It's not that easy either, but I could show it to you. Here it is, the cause of action. Any senator whose Senate data or the Senate data of whose Senate office has been acquired, subpoenaed, searched, assessed, or disclosed in violation of this section may bring a civil action against the United States if the violation was committed by an officer, employee, or agent of the United States or any federal department agency. And it goes on and on and on down here. And so your taxpayer dollars will be funding that, because who are they suing? So yeah. Yeah, that's he says he's blaming it on Senate Democrats and Republicans. Just so you know, he's blaming it on Senate Democrats and Republicans. And I don't even know if you want to hear this other dude. He's saying the same BS. His name is Representative Roy. Let's see. Let me just go ahead and play him. Representative Roy. He's just so distraught, Representative Roy.
I do not think that this provision should have been inserted. It certainly shouldn't have been inserted at the 11th hour without deliberation and back and forth. I do believe the gentleman's correct. There were Democrats and Republicans involved with it. But I think there's going to be a lot of people, if they look and understand this, are going to see it as self-serving, self-dealing kind of stuff. And I don't think that's right. And I understand, I think some of the motivations were to try to target a DOJ that I think was fairly obviously abusing its authority and targeting United States senators, separation of powers concerns, all the things. We can debate all that. But, we think it was pretty egregious. So I have no problem with the prospect of going after and trying to empower, even through private right of action, a way to go, because we do it in other contexts, consent decrees and other things. But the retroactive, potential to have dollars going to United States senators when we've got American citizens, whether it was J6ers, whether it's people from the FACE Act, whether it was others that have also had the full force of the federal government through the Department of Justice targeting and coming down on them. And they're going to see, but you can slide in a provision in here for United States senators. Like, it is beside my comprehension that this got put in the bill. And it's why people have such a low opinion of this town.
But
I am torn also, the gentleman from Georgia, because we need to fund the government and we need to get this passed. And I'm trying to figure out what we can do to force the Senate's hand to say you're going to repeal this provision and fix it without amending it here to then delay the funding of government, which we want to proceed to go move forward with. But that provision needs to get fixed. And we need to find a way as a body to get it fixed as soon as possible. And I'm continuing my.
They won't. They won't. So this is really quick. It's really quick. I just want you to see the smug look on this Grim Reaper's face. She's on the committee. She's one of the Republicans that were on the committee. I didn't play anything she said, but they're going to vote, but not before an amendment is proposed by, I can't remember her name, but she'll say it.
I have an amendment to the move, which strikes section 213.
Her name is Teresa Teresa Fernandez. So she's amending to strike this proposition.
I have an amendment to the move, which strikes Section 213 of Division C, which allows senators who were legally subpoenaed during
Indy.
the January 6th criminal conspiracy investigation to get millions of dollars deposited into their bank accounts at taxpayer expense. This amendment is slightly different because you agree with us on this policy position.
Yeah, of
we
course
have
they
heard
do.
several of you speak to the fact that you think that this Senate provision is wrong. We have called it corruption. We do not think it is proper that American taxpayers should be sending millions of dollars into individual senators' bank accounts. And those 8 senators that we named earlier are not the only senators which may receive these funds. That is the minimum. This money can continue to flow. We have heard you say that you don't have the power to do anything about this because you want to fund the government, because you want to keep it open. If you would have been here earlier, you would have heard the panels discuss the fact that this could be fast-tracked. We could get this done, but it only gets done if the House exercises its power. And your power is your vote. Your constituents sent you here to vote, not to make a speech, not to say, I think it's wrong, and to tweet something and then vote the opposite. The only way this gets changed is if you vote to change it. So let's see what kind of courage we all have to stand up to this kind of corruption and special treatment for senators. For 100 people who will be treated completely different than every other American who may have their records legally subpoenaed by the Department of Justice.
Hearing none, the question's on the amendment. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. No. The clerk will report the total.
4 yeas, 8 nays.
The noes have it. The amendment's not agreed to.
So every single Republican voted no. But they sure sounded, like they were very concerned. Oh, I'm just so torn. I don't know what to do. They should have made their lip quiver. What a crock of shit. And what's going to happen? Let me guess. Everybody's going to forget about it. Nobody's going to talk about it because they're going to go on to the next catastrophe and quietly let this one die down. I don't know. Maybe we need to put it on our list and make sure it doesn't get lost in the sauce, So here is, Rondo. They don't, it's all political theater. They really don't. Here is Donald Trump. He says that the shutdown is because of the Democrats, But here's him admitting in so many words that it isn't.
That is right. He understands that according to pollsters.
Let me roll it back.
Donald Trump is saying the quiet part out loud. That is right. He understands that according to pollsters, the Republicans are being blamed for the shutdown and not the Democrats. This is what he says. Trump wasn't on the ballot. So, of course, if he was, then things would have changed, he thinks. But in any case, and he says the shutdown were the two reasons that Republicans lost elections tonight, according to pollsters. So, again, the American people are blaming Republicans who are in charge of the White House, in charge of the House of Representatives, and in charge of the Senate for the shutdown, and rightfully so, because as we know, there was a bipartisan clean CR that was introduced to the House on the 16th of September. But that was not the one they voted on. No, Donald Trump told them to change it and make it dirty. And so Speaker Johnson did.
So we know all of that. We went through that. We went through that. And then they finally threw the clean one in there, but the clean one had some dirty business going on, just not as much as the first one. So we know that. But these are the people that I'm looking at now. All the Democrats who folded. Tim Kaine. You had voted, you were running for vice president of the United States, for goodness sake. If anybody would have a spine, it would be you. I understand Fetterman. Everybody understands Fetterman. But yeah, these are the people. Ay, 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 ay. We are not mad enough. This is how mad I want us to be. This is how mad I want us to be.
Video is only for Chuck Schumer. Chuck, how is it that you quitted everything else but this fucking job? You have quit every single level. When it comes to any sort of fight, you resign. But when it comes to sitting in that fucking chair and claiming you're the fucking leader, you'll stand there. You'll stand there with a spine that is nowhere near as stiff as a used cum rag. You piece of shit. Why can't you go away like your cousin Amy? Why do you got to stick around? Why do you have to sit there looking, oh, we're gonna fight? What fight? What fight? You just lost the shutdown. 40 days. 40 biblical days. You were like Moses in the desert. We're going to lead people to the promised land. And what you do? You fucking quit. And you were such a goddamn coward you couldn't even vote for it yourself. Instead, you got a gaggle of 8 old retirees plus John Fetterman's fucking brain damage. You got 8 of them together, none of which are up for fucking election next year. You got 8 of these fuckers together, and then you tried to QB sneak across the fucking finish line. Oh, we got a pinky swear. They pinky swore, promised us that they would vote possibly in the Senate. They're not gonna do shit, Chuck. My healthcare cost for my family, a family of 3, just went up $2,000 a year. I don't have subsidies. The entire fucking economy is teetering on a fucking knife's edge. You ruined everyone's fucking Halloween. You threatened fucking Christmas. You talk this big fucking game. We have a shutdown. We're gonna hold Donald Trump accountable. And then Sunday night, 10 p.m., you fucking fold. You fold on fucking everything. But when it comes to giving up that fucking bullshit little title of leader, oh no. Oh, God forbid, Chuck Schumer fucking pretend that he isn't a leader. You bag of shit. Chuck the cock. This video is only for Chuck Schumer.
You guys are hilarious. You're calling him Diet Rathbone. I'd call him Timu Rathbone. Actually, I think they're on the same level of pissed off activity. Pretty close. Yeah, you know what we didn't get in the negotiations? Y'all want to talk about that? What we didn't get? What they wouldn't even consider. We gave up our only leverage just for the extending the subsidies. The things they told us no, they wouldn't even consider, and we still move forward on a damn pinky swear. Now, the first one I was able to confirm before the show started. The second one, I was looking it up and I couldn't find it. So this is allegedly, but I know the first one is accurate of the things that we could not get. Okay. Play, girl, play. Oh, I got to start it over. Here we go.
So do you remember that $40 billion that Donald Trump said he's going to send to Argentina to bail out their government? Well, the Democrats proposed an amendment that $40 billion actually go towards lowering the healthcare cost of Americans and those ACA tax credits that the Republicans are refusing to continue. The Republicans voted against that $40 billion going to their own citizens and still want to send it to Argentina. How about that $350 million ballroom that Donald Trump keeps saying that is self-funded and from donors? Well, the Democrats said, hey, can we put in writing that the citizens of the United States will never be taxed for this $350 million ballroom? Like they won't be on the hook for it? Republicans voted against that too. If it was donor funded and self-funded, why wouldn't they be okay putting in writing that the citizens of the United States would never have to pay that back? Oh, and we also finally found out what the Republicans are wanting to negotiate with healthcare. They said in order to negotiate on the healthcare pricing front, we need to make sure that we limit abortion even more. So they're trading women's health for affordable healthcare. Are we winning yet?
Oh, okay. So let me say that correctly. Hi, Michael. Haven't talked to you in a while. That's Michael Penn. Okay, catch me outside. How about that? That's what we need to do with our politicians. Catch me outside. How about that? For real, we aren't mad enough. So the thing I was able to confirm, which that she was saying was about the Argentina thing. So she is correct that they wouldn't agree to that. Now, as far as, let me see, what is this? Oh, yeah. So here it is. Republicans vote no on using Argentina bailout money for ACA subsidies. I forgot about the third thing she said, so bear with me, y'all. Bear with me. This is a quick 2-minute read. Every single Republican member of the, not big enough. I'm by myself, y'all. Let's see. There we go. Every single Republican member of the House Rules Committee voted no on an amendment bill to reopen the government offered by Representative Mary Gay Scanlon, which would have redirected billions of dollars in financial bailouts to Argentina, instead into extending Affordable Care Act subsidies through December 31st, 2027 to prevent Americans' healthcare premiums from doubling. The quote is not that, I could just read it, it's not that long. It is madness that Donald Trump is sending a $40 billion bailout to Argentinian hedge fund investors during a government shutdown, and at a time when he is also arguing that we can't afford to help American families buy health insurance. 8 Senate Democrats caved this week on negotiations. Well, we already know all that part. All right. I want to show this to you. I just thought about this. Have you seen the president of Argentina? Have you seen his shenanigans? He had like a concert when we sent that money to him. He had a concert. You would have thought he was a superstar. He looked like a washed up. I'm not even gonna say that about one of the rock stars I love. I'm gonna see if I can find it for you, because it was hilarious. And then he was at, I think, CPAC doing the Donald Trump dance, and everybody was standing ovation, and I'm like, what is going on? Everybody's saying, well, not everybody, but because there's extradition to Argentina. There's no extradition, so they need somewhere to flee. Can't they go to Israel? I have too much on Argentina. I could try to YouTube it. So I just confirmed that one. And then there's and then the negotiations for, I couldn't confirm the one about the ballroom, although I did confirm that Donald Trump has yet to disclose the private funders who are contributing to said ballroom. I had it up here somewhere. We can't. He is yet to disclose that information. So I'm pretty sure, like Mexico is going to pay for it. I'm pretty sure these private donors aren't going to pay for it either. I'm pretty sure it's going to be us. Pretty damn sure. And then, I mean, if you think it won't be us, raise your hand, but I'm pretty damn sure it's going to be us. And I did find about the abortion negotiations. I did find that also, but I'd like to just play something instead of read it, because I find it pretty interesting that Republicans, like their whole argument for abortion, like taking it to the Supreme Court, is so states could decide. It's a states' rights issue, right? Well, now they're changing their tune, and it's going to be a federal issue again.
Republicans made it clear they weren't going to discuss the health care issue, the Affordable Care Act tax credits, until the shutdown was over.
Yeah. And if you recall yesterday, I made it very clear that I thought that there is no way that any meaningful progress would be discussed or even taken up for a vote regarding healthcare. And it turns out that Republicans are very much interested in talking about healthcare and maintaining access to that healthcare. Unless, of course, you're a woman. Republicans demand tougher abortion restrictions to extend Obamacare funds. Senate Majority Leader today, John Thune, said that there will be a negotiation about an extension after the government reopens. He said one condition will be stricter rules pertaining to the Hyde Amendment, which bars federal funding from being used for abortion. The article goes on to say, to satisfy Democratic demands to comply with the Hyde Amendment when Obamacare passed in 2010, the law does not allow federal funds to cover abortions. Some states allow people insured under Obamacare to access abortion coverage using state or other funding. And Republicans would like to change that. What happened to states' rights, Republicans? If a state wants to use state funds for a woman's reproductive health care, why is that any of the federal government's business? To say nothing of the fact that reproductive health care is health care. Reproductive rights are women's rights. And this is just one of the conditions that we know of that Republicans are demanding before they even sit down at the table to negotiate extending the ACA subsidies, which if they don't, some ACA enrollees will see their monthly payments go up by thousands of dollars potentially, anywhere from 114 to 128%. So we'll extend some healthcare, not all of it. We're not extending any of that healthcare for those women. Now, of course, the Democrats are already saying that that's a non-starter. They're not going to negotiate on that, which, good, you shouldn't. But to that, the Republicans will sit back in their chairs and say, oh, well, then good deal then. That means we don't have to negotiate on the ACA subsidies. That's the point. That's the point. They don't want to do that. They don't want to extend them. So to recap, if you are a woman, if you are a hungry person, if you are a poor person, if you are a person of color, Republicans don't care about you.
Well, it didn't look like the Democrats care that much either. I mean, the way they try to frame this as if it's strictly Republicans, why did the Democrats fold if you cared about us? Why'd you fold? It's a big club and we ain't in it. They don't care. They knew this was going to happen. How do you vote on a pinky swear? So basically now the Republicans, they got millions of dollars in their pockets. Okay. They got another shutdown coming where they didn't compromise on what the shutdown was for in the first place. They got the big, like, what? They got the big, beautiful bill. They got the Argentina money. Tell me what we got. I'm trying to figure out what do we get. We got, I don't know, a strongly worded letter coming our way. Maybe that's what we got.
Imagine rooting for your political party to stop millions of Americans from losing their health care. Imagine rooting for that and then see them fold for nothing more than a promise from somebody who has shown shit character more than once. John Thune's promise is what's necessary for the extension of the Affordable Care Act. The promise of a one man, the promise of a MAGA man, the promise of a Trump supporter is what caused the Democrats to fold. These are the people we're supposed to get behind. Oh, they fled Texas to stop the gerrymandering. What's happening in Texas still? Got it.
Right.
I don't
gerrymandering.
Expect these people to just pop outside with magic solutions and fix everything and stop MAGA. But I also don't expect whatever this pussy ass shit is.
No, I think you meant that you do expect whatever that is. I think you wholeheartedly expect it. That's the problem. We were feeling so empowered, like finally. And then we got everything that we expect anyway. That's the problem. Michael says Democrats have sided with Republicans on non-permanently extending the ACA tax subsidies. Yes, yes. I mean, we got a pinky swear. So the Democrats were the backstop for socialism and communism. What do you mean backstop? I guess I need to know what that word means. Backstop. Hi, Mousy. Hi, Mousy. So, I think that's all I have, except for I'm looking up backstop. So, because words matter. A person or thing placed at the rear of or behind something is a barrier. Oh, that makes sense. Like on a door or something. Yes. Okay. Yes. You see how, I'm just going to go back to that comment. Sean, you see how they wouldn't endorse Mamdani, sorry. Refused to endorse him. Actually ran someone against him. The vote blew no matter who crowd. So we already know who they are. And yes, I don't think we're getting those Epstein files. I just don't think we're getting them. Yeah, I just don't think so. But I'm going to keep talking about them. I'm going to keep talking about them. And speaking of the Epstein files, then, that's a good segue. Because the farmers are still looking. They're still looking. Okay. They still want what they want, too. So here's a hot take from a farmer about the negotiations in the Epstein files.
Johnson is refusing to commit to a vote on the subsidies like we knew he would
This is where the discharge petition for the Epstein files is going to come in. Yeah, just like I told you. So he's going to say, if you want to commit to that, how about we don't release the Epstein files? That's what he's going to say. What are the Democrats going to do? What are they going to pick? Are they going to have the fight? Are they going to fight it out? What do you think? What do you think they should do? Should they move forward with the discharge petition? Should they have this fight in the public? Should they forego the Affordable Care Act? I don't know what they should do. They shouldn't be in this position, but that's what they chose to do. But I'm telling you right now, this Epstein file discharge petition is going to play a huge role in this. That's the only way Mike Johnson will commit to ensuring people can still get health insurance, is if we just allow Donald Trump and the Republicans to cover up whatever Epstein did. That's what we're facing. Yeah. Let me know what you think. Thanks. So Mike.
I think the Democrats are probably okay with that too, because they're on the list as well. No ice? Oh, thank you. Thank you. I think the Democrats will be fine with that because they're on the list as well. They just have to look like they're trying to fight for it. Right? So maybe the shutdown, like this whole time during the shutdown, they were trying to figure out what to do. How can we get what we want and protect the PEDs. I don't know if I can say the PDF files and ourselves, so we can maintain this power because they have too much on us. So I don't know. Yes, Mousy. Right. Oh no. I'm so sorry to hear that. Oh no, she's getting Cowboy Kitty's sister-in-law is being deported. I'm wondering if we could maybe we could talk to a group about doing a fundraiser like we did for Aspen. I'm gonna get in the group and ask. So I'll let you know what comes of that, Cowboy Kitty. On that note, I think I should, yeah. Not the news I wanted to hear. The last thing I wanted to, man, I should have showed this first. So geez. The last thing I wanted to show you guys is there's a motion by Senator Thune. Well, actually, it's by Senator Ron Johnson to eliminate shutdown, the Eliminate Shutdowns Act. It was introduced. It's still just sitting there. There's a motion by Senator Thune to reconsider the vote by which cloture on the motion to proceed. So I just thought that was interesting because that was introduced on September 15th. But anyway, enough of that. Enough of that. Bye, Mousy. So maybe we could follow this and see what happens with this because this is getting ridiculous. All right, Cowboy Kitty, I'm going to be sending out positive energy into the universe for your sister-in-law. I'm sure we will all do the same. And let me put up while we're here. Give me a second, everybody. Okay. If you have it to give, if you have it to give, I'm sure they will greatly appreciate it. And if you don't, you can share. Tell people about her. Send positive energy her way. Been here for 9 years and was in the process of applying for her green card. And they're how long? I wonder how long does she have on appeal? Maybe you can update this GoFundMe, and update the goal and stuff like that. So when I show it to the group, they'll have the latest info, Cowboy Kitty, if you don't mind doing that. All right. So with that being said, I wish her the best, and we're going to keep checking on the information and see what we could do to help, for sure. Did I say like, share, and subscribe today? Not once. I need to work on that. I hope that you got some good information out of what I put together for you, because I know it's very convoluted and taxing. Trying to understand what they're doing, how they're getting away with the things that they're getting away with, all these laws and rules and stuff like that. Like how we didn't even know that we had a parliament until the parliament said we couldn't do something that should have been done for the American people. So we had to look that up. Like, what the hell is a parliament? Is this Great Britain? What? Oh, good, Sean. I'm glad. So I'm gonna say my goodbyes to everyone, but I want you guys to I want to show you visually, because I'm a visual person, just give you an idea of what they are doing to us. Democrats and Republicans alike. Even though Democrats do give crumbs at the table, yes, they do, but they also thoroughly benefit from how the Republicans are just bending us over with no Vaseline. So it's the, what do you call a backstop? It's just a backstop, a ratchet effect. So yeah, I'm gonna end with that. Let me set it up for you. I'm getting more used to doing this by myself, but sometimes I forget words, and I like how Michael jumps in and remembers a word for me, like he's in my brain or something. All right. So this is a visual representation of what's happening with our tax dollars and how they keep us divided, fussing over frivolous things that really don't help us progress as a nation. The workers. Thank you, Extra Bulla. Okay, so here we go. Love you all. And see you next Thursday.
This is $500 billion. And to give you some type of reference, this is the White House. You've seen it many times. Imagine the White House full of $20 bills from corner to corner, first floor and second floor. That would be $500 billion. To give you another perspective, you're sitting at a football field, end zone to end zone, sideline to sideline, 2 stories tall, $20 bills, $500 billion. And that's what we're going to use for today's example. In 2018, the richest people in this nation, and there's about 500 of them approximately, held $3.1 trillion. $3.1 trillion, 6 White Houses full of $20 bills for 500 people. You fast forward to 2024, those same people now have $5.6 trillion. That is an 80% increase in their wealth. Did those tax cuts increase your wealth by 80%? This goes way beyond party. This is not a Democrat and Republican thing. This is a problem. This is what the Greeks warned about. The Greeks warned about oligarchies, which is a government of the few. We are giving up all of our control to a very limited amount of people. And why is that such a scary thing? Because those 2 blue cups right there, that is all of the money it requires to purchase everything in the United States military, 1.1 trillion. That's all the aircraft carriers, it's all of the helicopters, all of the tanks, all of the jets, everything. Do you think it's in our best interest to have people that could purchase the U.S. military multiple times over? We've got to get on the same page.
Okay, there is a correction here, you guys. So that's for all of the stuff we have in this year, but I forgot how, because I read up on it, and he acknowledged that that's a correction, so that visually you can kind of get an idea, but that one, the blue cups, is not quite accurate, just so you know. And I can't remember what the correction is, but he also acknowledged the correction. I think it was everything that we have in stock amounts to those 2 cups that we have in stock currently, or something like that. But that doesn't include like their budget. So just wanted to put that out there. Okay.
We have to. If you think about it, the only way to rip off the United States, because you cannot launder trillions of dollars, you have to manipulate the tax code. They're clearly doing it. And we got to stop doing their dirty work. Trickle-down economics does not work. It's right there in front of you. They're hoarding the money. You know, when you go to the grocery store or Home Depot, you're checking yourself out. You're completely aware that there are robots being used on assembly lines. You know that they're investigating in AI. This is a massive problem. And for people that keep saying, I'm tired, I don't care about the tax cuts anymore, so I just don't care. It worked on you then. All of the gaslighting and all of the propaganda, they got you right where you want you. And it's so easy for me to see. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. This week, these tennis cans represent everybody in the NCAA. 630,000 people in the NCAA. And we had to legislate this week. We had to have an executive order that read like a tabloid protecting women in sports, whatever it was. This is the amount of people we're talking about. That, ladies and gentlemen, is what gaslighting is. This is a decoy. I do not know how to be more specific to you. Doge, tax cuts, you can't see either one of them. They want us arguing. They didn't stand up for someone this week during the State of the Union. We got tariffs in the morning. We don't have them in the afternoon. This is a weapon of mass distraction. They don't care. I don't even know what happens sometimes. Sometimes there's missing children. Sometimes they're not. We got to worry about woke. We got to worry about CRT. We got to worry about DEI. Thank God we can say Merry Christmas. They have worn you down. And the reality is, we got to stop this. If we don't stop this, there's no turning back. And a very few amount of people will control all of the wealth in this country. They can buy their own nuclear weapons. They can buy their own military. Why would our soldiers work for the U.S. military when they can afford to pay 5 times more? Yeah, I need you to get back on the same page. I need you to realize that it's always been about taxes from the beginning, and prove me wrong. Math does not lie. And in my classroom, cups and cans talk and bullshit walks. Enough with the excuses. We got to stop this. I hope you learned something. I care. I'm just like you. Let's get on the same page, and remember, I'm always rooting for you.
I just had one quick question, because they keep telling us the big beautiful bill made the tax cuts permanent. They keep saying that now the tax cuts are permanent. Who said that? Like, how is they're just trying to put that in our head so we just feel like they're permanent, and when we're helpless to reverse them? Like, what would make them permanent? Why can't you repeal tax cuts? And I haven't been able to find anything on that yet. I'm going to keep looking, though. I'm definitely going to keep looking, because they're gaslighting us about the tax cuts. For sure. Anyway, I'm saying bye again. See you next time, fam. Love you guys.